Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of No Man's Sky. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault here today. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and don't forget to leave a comment and a like on the video down below. Let me know what you think of things, and share us on social media. It's always appreciated. So, we're going to talk a little bit about electricity today. Electricity in No Man's Sky can be a bit of a mystery sometimes as far as how it works. Now, running, a basic power source, like here we've got these electromagnetic power supply over here. We got, what, 4 of them set up in here? And that is the source of our power. We're running it here to a battery. Now, you can use, there's a lot of different ways to get power. Well, not a lot, but there's a few. One of them's these generators. One of them is a solar power combined, solar panels combined with batteries. And then another is the bioreactor, which sucks, and I highly don't recommend it. What's going on over here? Some kind of explosion. All right, but we got a lot of stuff going on here. This is just a mock-up base. You see we got flashing lights. We've got all kinds of goodies. So let's start off with the fun thing. You know those automatic power doors and what a pain they are? Well, here we got one, right? They're usually open. Well, we got it set up to where when you get close, it opens up. The red light turns off and the green light turns on. Pretty cool, right? We've also got a number of different things going on here. Bingo. This door does not open automatically when we get near it, but we can open it up. That turns off our base terminus, but let's take a look at how all this stuff is done. So first off, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that because that hides all of these awful wires that we've got running all over the place. And that's the reason it's there because, yeah. The only reason we have this battery here is this is a hub that's bringing in the power from up here. And, and then we're just doing everything from here. So let's look at some simple things real quick. Inside of the power setup. So again, here's your 3 ways to gain power: solar panels, biofuel reactors, and electromagnetic generators. This one is by far the best and most effective way to get power because you're not relying on the cycle of the sun, and you don't need batteries in addition to an energy source. They just make power 24/7. And the way to locate a source of power on the planet is you need to have installed in your multi-tool the survey device right here. And when you go into your survey mode at the bottom, you'll push right and you'll see it detects a hotspot. And obviously that's that hotspot right there. Once you detect a hotspot, you can build your power generators there. And depending on how much power is available, like a level, if it's an S class, A class, B class, whatever, will depend on how much power you generate. And you're going to want to get, now let's get as close as we can here. So you'll see over on the left hand side it says it's an A class, and the local field strength is 81 and the max field strength is 83. So you're going to want to build as close to that 83 as possible, which is somewhere inside of here. You can see as we get closer. All right, that's the first step. Find a source of power. If you don't have electromagnetic power available, you can always buy or build some solar panels. But for every bit of energy you use for a solar panel, you're going to need some batteries to hold on to whatever extra charge there is, so when the sun is not out, it can run your base at nighttime. Let's look at some basic stuff right here. First off, here's a proximity sensor, and that's being used to turn on that blue light. That wall's different. Hold on. And it changed it. Okay. So proximity sensor, right? in our build menu, we have a wall switch, proximity switch, a floor switch, a button, a power inverter, and an auto switch. So we're going to talk about a couple of these things a little more in depth than the rest. Some of them are kind of useless, like the button is, you push it and it toggles power very briefly. It's kind of worthless. But let's look at this floor switch first off. You see these three lights around there. You see the power lines between them are red, and the power line running to the actual floor switch is red. But the one running from the battery is blue. And I apologize for all the confusion here. I should have set this up better, but you'll get the gist of it. As soon as I step onto the power switch, these turn blue and the lights light up. Perfect, right? We step off, it's off. Step on, it's on. You don't even have to get that close. By the same thing, we've got a blue light over here on the wall and a proximity switch over there. There's the proximity switch. As soon as we get in range of it, it powers that up and it turns that on. That right there is the auto switch, which I really don't see a lot of use for in the game. It's kind of there. I can do this without it. If you watch, we'll get rid of that. We'll run the power directly to it, and we get the same effect, only faster. Blue light is on. Now that light's on. What's the difference between these and what are the applications you might have for it? Well, the floor switch is alright. I don't see any reason to use that over the proximity switch. The proximity switch seems to have a much larger, or much bigger range to it. Here we go. It's on, right? Get out of the area, but listen. See the blue light turned on down there? So even from behind, it works. So it's not operating as a cone like it looks like it is. It's operating as a sphere of influence that you step into and trigger that to turn on. Now over here is a door that is not set up to automatically open. This one uses actually a toggle power flow. And where is that? That is a wall switch, which you toggle the power flow. I'm sorry. Real easy to use. A little more complex than something like one of these. One of these requires power into it and then power out of it into wherever it's going into. That one does, and this one does, right? One way in, one way out. Out of range, no power going out. In range, power going out. No power going out. On top of it, power going out. But something like this, the wall switch, operates the same way. Power in, power out, right? When you toggle the power flow, you can do different things. We can open a door with it like that, turn something like this off or on. If we wanted this on all the time, we would just run power directly to it. And quite honestly, that's normally what I would do anyway. I wouldn't have it off or on. But for a door, like, hey, I want to go outside and run around for a little bit, I'm going to have my door opened up. But now I'm out and, oh, my door's open. That's kind of inconvenient, I don't want to leave my door open. What happens if some weird creature or, like, hobbit shows up and hangs out at my base and does some stuff I don't want him to do? That would suck. So, you can shut it off, and here we go. No way to access it from the outside unless I put a switch in, right? So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Next up is this little guy right here, the power inverter. Now, if we look at the power inverter, when you set it up, it's got three inputs. Power on the left and right, and then power at the bottom, which is what controls the signal, okay? So we have a situation here where we've got a power inverter and a yellow light. Let's get a little bit better look at this. I didn't realize how bad I screwed it up when I put that bottom wall down, but as you can see, we've got the power pulsing in this inverter. Now the power runs directly here into there, and then from there into the light at the top. It kind of clips into the wall a little bit, but that's how it works. What I did do is run a line from the power out to the control thing, and that's what's causing that pulse, which is pretty neat. So if you wanted to have a light pulsing of some sort, you could do it just like that. That's pretty sweet. And we're gonna have to do this again. Dang it. All right. Now here's where the fun begins. These doors, when placed down on their own, default to an open position. So let's place one down. No power running to it or anything. It just defaults to an open door, right? All the time open. If you run power directly to it, now it's closed. Right? So that doesn't help you any, and there's no way to open it at that point unless you cut the power to it. So how would we cut the power to it? We could do it a couple different ways. We could, remember this button I told you about? This useless button. Run that up there. Run that over there. See, it's still open all the time. Now we can force it closed, but only for a second. So that's why I don't like to use that button. So the only other thing we can do is put the switch like we did over there, which will open the door at your will, whenever you want it open, requiring that manual thing, or we can use a proximity switch just like this one here, right? Now the thing is, the natural state of the door when it receives power, and let's pull that up again and put it back out. When it receives power directly, is closed with no way to open it. Okay, we're closed there. What we want to do is cut the power when we get close to it. Now we can't do that with simply a proximity switch like this. And I'll show you why. Destroy that. Run the power to there. And then to there. So when we're in the proximity of this thing, it powers the door, which shuts it. We get out of the proximity and it opens it. So you gotta like run like hell. I gotta run. Oh no, I can't get through it. Right? So that's what's annoying, right? You can't get through it. So what you use is a power inverter at this point. And the power inverter is very simple to use and very simple to set up. To use it with a proximity switch, you'll place a power inverter down and a proximity switch. And what you want to do is run power from this side over to the door, this side to your source of power, which is our battery. We're going to run the control down to the proximity switch, and then the proximity switch to the battery. So it requires a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4 connections to work properly, okay? And that's what we've set up here. So we're out of range. The door closes. Let's get rid of this. It's just in the way. So yeah, we're out of range and the door is shut. We get close, we hit that proximity switch. You see that light turns blue. and that turns red, right? Let's watch it again as we get out of range. Red, blue. So that's how that works. Now I've also hooked up that red light to the same proximity switch, so when we're out of the way, the door is closed. When we get close, I've got this proximity switch here. That lights it up green, and that opens the door. And again, the proximity switch does not work in the fashion of a cone, as you can see as we get close here. Door is red, it's shut. We get close, turns green, opens up. We did the same thing over here with just a basic proximity switch and the green light. Now, this is a very messy setup here. I've just been kind of experimenting around with the power and how it works and all that, so you definitely can make this a lot cleaner looking and a lot nicer looking, but for functionality, I just did it like that. Of course, at the end, you're always going to want one of these guys down, because that just hides all that ugly wire work we see. Now none of it exists, right? It's all gone. All history, all perfectly invisible. Every now and then that'll stop working, and all you got to do is to put it back into your inventory, lift it up, put it back down, and it will work again. And that thing can even be hidden somewhere inside the base, you know. If you wanted, you could hide it under the floorboards here. Saying that we can get rid of this one. You know, if you don't like the look of it, it still exists. It's hidden. And everything's still invisible here. Everything's lit up. We could shut the door. And we do that before we activate this so it doesn't, you know, cause some kind of rip in the space-time continuum. Just kidding. I just put them on the same thing for the fun of it. I can show you two things at once. All right, so that's it for, you know, just a basic power tutorial here and how some of these different devices work and how you can use them inside your base. The power inverters are cool. They can be used to automate these doors, and not only works with that door, it also works with this door here. And this was always a source of frustration for me early in the game when I didn't realize how this door worked. You know, you'd set it up and it just, you could run power to it and it wouldn't open. Oh, it was just a pain in the butt. So yeah, it works for that one. And that's the door that goes onto the corridors and square rooms and cylindrical rooms and so forth and so on. So if you found this video useful at all, please leave a like on it down below and a comment. Let me know if it was any help to you whatsoever, or if there was anything that wasn't clear. I know this was kind of a you know, there's a lot to this, and I'd be glad to elaborate further if the need be. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and don't forget to leave a comment down below and a like on the video. It's always appreciated. We'll see you next time. Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, signing out.